Welcome to Visions, a series of visits to almost everywhere. I'm your host and fellow traveler, Herb Malsman. We are going to spend, it is Sunday, March 9th, 1997. We're going to be spending 4 or 5 days. We'll be here through the 14th of March in Trinidad and Tobago, the sister island of Tobago. We're in the Caribbean. We're about just about 7 miles north of Venezuela. We're the southernmost Caribbean island in the Caribbean chain. We are going to be spending some time with Orbis International. They're a worldwide volunteer organization dedicated to the preservation and restoration of site around the world, and they're here in Trinidad. They just came from Cuba for the first time. They've been to China a number of times, El Salvador, I think, just recently, and they spent a lot of time in the former Soviet Union, do a lot of traveling over the years. We're going to meet briefly, just because his name is Liberty Black, I wanted to meet Liberty Black and say hello. Liberty is the advanced man for Orbis. We're going to spend a few moments before we go on to some very exciting work we're going to be doing here this week. Good morning, Mr. Black, Liberty Black. A little background on you, and what does an advanced man do for Orbis International?
Yes, I've been working for the past 10 years or so with different nonprofit organizations, most recently the American Red Cross, working in disaster services, prior to that with the American Peace Corps, working in Africa. My role now with the Orbis International is titled Front Work Coordinator, and my role is to go to the countries where the plane will be visiting and to meet with the host country doctors, also with the Ministry of Health, also with hotels, also with government officials, to make sure that all the arrangements for the arriving plane, for the crew members, at the support facilities, that everything will be in order when the plane comes, that we'll have a smooth running medical program as soon as the plane arrives.
How long a process is that, and how much mileage do you book? Do you a frequent flyer? I guess you are.
I'm still fairly new with the organization, but having already met and worked a lot with those who have preceded me, it's a great deal of travel takes place. A lot of the tickets are donated to us, United Airlines and others, so we actually don't collect frequent flyer miles. Those are actually used for more flying and more trips for more people to go other places. We try to go into the country for the initial visit at least 6 months prior to the arrival of the plane to do what we call program-specific front work, and then we accomplish as much as we can at that point, and then hopefully enough has been done that we can come in again 1 week prior to the arrival of the plane and finish any of the arrangements. But all of this is under investigation in terms of the best way to handle things. So we're always learning, we're always growing.
Okay, now this is March 9th, 1997. It's a Sunday. I just arrived here this afternoon. You've been here for a little bit now. You'll be here for a little bit after I'm gone. You're going to spend about 3 weeks here, perhaps, something like that. This is the first time in a while you've been to Trinidad. What are the problems you ran into here? Anything unique to Trinidad?
Well, I think every program has its unique challenges. I think here there are not a lot of ophthalmologists in Trinidad, but they're also at a very high level here in general. And so one of the things we've noticed about this program is that it was required for us to bring in even a higher level of professors than we normally do, so because the Trinidadian doctors were of a high level already. Other than that, this has not been a terribly challenging program. Obviously, Trinidad is a beautiful place. The people here are also very beautiful. They've worked very hard to give us support. So actually this has been, I think, a good program and a very satisfying one.
Okay, so now what is the plan? What is the format? What am I likely to be doing while I'm here? I mean, what does my week look like here? What is going to be my ideal?
Sure. What you'll be looking at is a process. We start on Mondays in the local hospital, where all the doctors in this area, in this country, have assembled the patients that they feel will be good teaching cases. On Monday morning, the visiting physicians from the United States and every other country will be here. The specialists in their field will work with the local doctors and actually screen all of the patients that have been identified. That will take place on Monday. From those patients that we screen, the patients for surgery will be selected. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you'll actually see the patients being brought to the plane. The operations will take place on the plane. They will come back for a follow-up visit the next day. And this is what you'll see, a process of many doctors coming to the plane to participate or to be educated, to witness the operations through our audio-visual system, and then the patients coming for the operations. And you'll see a constant flow of doctors and patients moving through the airplane, and the teaching, the cooperation taking place between the visiting physicians and then the host country national physicians.
Now, the sign you hear is we're inside a suite. I guess it's a suite hotel, the Royal Palm Hotel, suite hotel in Trinidad. We're going to be based here. We're going to be, this will be our home for a few days for me anyway. And then, of course, again, I'll be here through the 14th, and then I'll head back to Altoona to try to make sense of this. How did the name Liberty come about? I only know of one other Liberty. That was Liberty Valance, and he was the bad guy. That's right, Lee Marvin, and I believe James Stewart thought he shot him, but it was actually John Wayne, the man who shot Liberty Valance. How did you come about the name Liberty?
Well, it's a long story.
Longer than that?
But I happen to be one of those folks who decided to name myself, and once I made that determination, there were a lot of choices, and I finally settled on my favorite word and my favorite idea.
What did your family have in mind when you were born?
Oh, that's all right. I won't go into that.
Okay, must have been a good one then. Okay, I thank you very much, Liberty Black. I thank you very much for your time and the efforts that you're making here. And I guess you've been with Orbis a little bit longer than I have, but I guess we can say welcome to Orbis. You're kind of starting out in a way, although you've been logging some miles. But thank you for the input into Orbis. I thank you for my listeners for your sensitivity and for the work you're doing for a great organization. Thank you, sir.
Well, thank you. We certainly appreciate your taking the time to visit us here.
Thank you for inviting me. You're listening to Visions, a series of visits to almost everywhere. I'm your host and fellow traveler, Herb Malsman. Tomorrow morning, we'll be heading, and I believe we begin our day at 7 in the morning, and then we'll spend the day at the hospital. And I think this pretty much of a trip. I think they said an hour and a half from here to the hospital. So today we're just kind of relaxing. Tomorrow we will go to work, and we will see you on the bus tomorrow morning, bright and early, folks. So get a good night's sleep. We're going to be heading out from the hotel early. So the next sound you hear, and I'm going to fade down. The next sound you hear will be the sound of the bus heading for I believe it's the San Fernando General Hospital. Is that right?
Yes, correct.
Okay, let's fade down and head for the bus. Here we go. Here's my favorite thing to fade. Here we go. We're on a bus. I believe it's the Ministry of Health, one of the Ministry of Health buses here in Trinidad. We're heading to a hospital. There are about 20 people on board. There are a couple of media types like us, but then mostly there are some scientific types and medical type folks are heading for the hospital. We're about to meet Ken Fowler, who is sitting in a neck brace just to our left over here. Let's meet. Is it left or right? It's left. We're going to meet Ken Fowler right now and get a little background as to what we're going to be doing this morning. You can either explain what happened to your neck first or do what we're going to be doing first. Either way, let's try to get it all done here. Sir, good morning.
All right, good morning. What we're going to do this morning is we're going to screen patients for surgery, for demonstration surgery. Ideally, the methodology for Orbis is that we go in ahead of time, up to 2 years in advance, sending an advance team in to work with the Ministry of Health and to work with the local doctors to identify basically 3 things. It's called a needs assessment. Number one thing we identify is what is the predominant cause of blindness in the region. Number 2, we identify what are the surgical procedures and the procedures of treatment that the local physicians are already capable of doing. There's no point in teaching somebody something they already know. And number 3, what is the next level of procedures and treatment that they need to learn relative to the predominant cause of blindness in their region that would allow them to take the next evolutionary step in their ophthalmic community. So for the past number of months, the local physicians have been screening their own patients with an eye out for certain types of diseases, given the types of visiting faculty or visiting Orbis professors that we bring in. And so over the past several months they have been screening hundreds of patients, and today they will present to us anywhere between 90 and 200 patients. From that patient base, we will take a look at them, And the Orbis doctors will select or screen out about 15 to 20 to have demonstration surgeries on this week. Those demonstration surgeries will demonstrate new and advanced sight-saving techniques that the physicians, the local physicians, will then be able to learn in the only hands-on environment in the entire world, which is a flying eye hospital aboard a refurbished DC-10 aircraft.
That's Orbis International, and your position with Orbis is?
Mine is the mission director. So I am the chief administrator and team leader for the activities in the field worldwide off of the Orbis DC-10.
Why the neck brace?
I was in an accident when I was back home. I was gardening, and I do things to the extreme, I guess, and had an accident. Had to have a couple of disc fused and a little titanium put in my neck.
How did you have a neck injury while gardening?
I got carried away lifting something the size of a small tractor.
I thought you got grabbed by a Venus flytrap or something. You had to have it done. Now, of course, Trinidad is not your only location. You've been to, you do really travel the world. A little background on Orbis, and recently, I guess perhaps in February, so you were in Cuba for the first time. A little background on the mileage, frequent flyer mileage, as it were.
Probably the greatest frequent flyer mileage in the known universe. Since its inception in 1982, Orbis has been able to visit over 74 countries and actually conduct over 300 sight-saving missions. And since that time, aboard the Orbis aircraft, over 20,000 missions. Those doctors and nurses who go on and teach others. So the fight against blindness, the stance that Orbis takes and the tack that Orbis takes is through education, not through direct relief. So through the educational process of teaching the local physicians and nurses how to treat their own patients effectively, ultimately Orbis has been able to restore the sight of over 6 million people.
And the surgeons going out, they're all volunteers.
Yes, that's correct. They're all volunteer surgeons. We have a cadre of world-renowned surgeons that numbers over 300, and each one of them volunteers 1 week of their time to come out and teach and perform surgery.
Were you in Cuba?
Yes.
How was it there? What was it? Now this is your first time, and Cuba is not really open to the outside society. What was the sense? What did you feel in Cuba?
Cuba is like a place that is frozen in the 1950s. They are extremely intelligent people, and they have an extreme desire to know the latest and the current avant-garde knowledge, to be leading edge. As you say, they have been removed from that mainstream, and so they were very, very eager to work with us and attended the program. The attendance was extremely high, and the participation level was also extremely good. It was an excellent program.
Now, I was hoping on July 4th, the week of the 5th of July in last year, to go to China, but the Chinese government refused my press visa at that point because of a foreign press. You know, a little bit of a foreign press. They're a little tired of it. That's the word I got. What is the sense in China? What sort of a feel do you get there?
China is a tremendous country, and China is Orbis's oldest and longest standing relationship. We have a excellent relationship with China, all down through all levels, and we are so well known in China that the Chinese themselves call us Orbis is a friend of China.
So how come I couldn't get in? What happened there?
Well, they are very
good. My T-shirt.
Yeah, they're very, very protective of the work, and they know that Orbis does great work there, and they are very focused on that. And consequently, every time that we go to China, the program is highly organized. They put literally hundreds of people on the government side and on the medical community side in China onto the project. So everything is taken care of, every detail, so that we can reach the largest number of people in China. And we can have anywhere from 100 to 400 participants in the programs in China.
What is the biggest problem, country? Where do you find the most difficult, the most involved, the most intricate problems? Are any of those words effective here?
There are problems to overcome with each program. Every program has a certain set of problems, and they vary from program to program.
Well, what's the largest population of eye-related problems, physical?
Well, the highest density of eye problems is in India and China, where the populations are so dense and where the infrastructure isn't fully developed in order to meet the growing needs of eye problems.
So it isn't physical as much as it is geographical and so on and so forth, and just being able accommodations and that kind of thing.
Right. Blindness knows no socioeconomic boundaries. However, it does seem that because of the treatment availability, that it lives within largely the ranks of the impoverished.
Right. And under parasitic conditions and that sort of thing, where you'll find the water, maybe problems with water, problems with food, and that's basically diet is what I was talking about, I guess.
Yes. There are many contributing factors, from the acute traumatic side all the way to malnutrition and vitamin A deficiency. We found some of that in the Sudan, and there in the African countries there are some very extreme conditions of poverty.
Sure. Well, Ken Fowler, thank you very much for your time. I'm sorry to take up your time. I'm sure you want to kind of enjoy the day a little bit. How's the neck coming along?
It's great. Everything is very, very good.
Looking forward to getting back to your garden?
No, I'm looking forward to helping some more people around the world.
No gardening for a while.
That's correct.
Thank you very much. Okay, that's it. We're gonna cut tape until we get to the hospital. You're listening to Visions, a series of visits to almost everywhere. I'm your host and fellow traveler, Herb Malsman. We're in Trinidad. We're spending the week. It's March 10th. March 10th, is that right? March 10th in 1997. We are driving on either the left or the right side of the road. It gets a little involved over here. You got to be really careful because people kind of come at you and kind of swerving. You spend the whole time swerving here. We're going to go to a break now, and the next time we speak, we will be inside the hospital to begin this look at the great work of Orbis International, and as I like to call them, a worldwide volunteer organization dedicated to the preservation and restoration of sight. Let's cut tape. Here we go. Okay, we're back. Obviously, we're very close to the hospital right now. It's San Fernando Hospital we're heading for. We're going down some narrow streets. A lot of people on the streets here. We left the hotel, the Royal Palm Hotel, at about 7 a.m., a little after 7. And now Trinidad is waking up. It looks like about 25 minutes to 9 right now in the morning. It's March 10th, 1997. The outdoor, there are a lot of shops outside, the bazaars and all that, and lots of fruit being sold on the corners. And you can hear our bus moving along, our transportation moving along. A lot of buildings in the area. I was just looking at some areas look like they've been bombed a little bit, just sort of shells of buildings. Various fast food services over here, restaurants and bars, a lot of closed shops, fruits being sold again on the streets. And there's a cat eating sin. There's a little cat out there, looks like a stray, looking for spare food, looking for food along the street. And oh my goodness, look at this cat, all bones, coming along. Children on the way to school. And to our right, to our left, looks like maybe a parking area here. And 3 or 4 gentlemen with sickles. They're cutting some of the brush, some of the weeds here. And we're running along a beach. I see water out there, the ocean right out there to our right. And we're coming in San Fernando General Hospital. We're making a left up into the road now. And we're coming up the road. And we're being waved in by looks like security. They had the bar down, and of course they lifted it to let us come through. And moving up, coming up, but it's not a tall building. It looks like it's about a 3-story building, maybe 2-3-story building. There are 2 buildings attached by a tunnel, a bridge, a walkway, covered.
Johnny, you need to go over there.
And we're pulling up. We're coming in, I think, the back way to San Fernando, and pulling into the lot now, taking on space. There are probably about 20 of us on board. There are family circlers here. Many of the Orbis crew, again with Ken Fowler. We'll meet some of these people. We'll speak with some of the doctors. We're backing up now, and we're about to go inside. So let's cut tape now and head into San Fernando General Hospital. Again, you're listening to Visions, a series of visits to almost everywhere. I'm your host and fellow traveler Herb Malsman. Let's step off the bus and step into our subject today. Here we go. So, hey, just before we go inside, we're outside right now, getting ready to go into the hospital. We're just clearing out the bus before we go in again. There is a cholera outbreak in this area right now, and it says, be careful, wash your hands, wash and watch your hands before eating, after eating, with soap and water. There is a cholera outbreak here in Trinidad right now. Let's get inside, so we're with the rest of the group. Let's cut tape and move along to inside the hospital. Here we go. There must be maybe 300-400 people here. Some sitting, some waiting in entrances. There's a dental clinic. We're going through to an eye clinic now. Okay, we're in here. We're at reception. The whole group is with us. Hi, Laura Satchwell, Orbis International. Let's say quickly hello to Laura Satchwell before we move along and get a little look at what we're going to be doing right now. Laura, hi, good morning. What's happening? We've arrived there after about an hour and a half trip. What's going on here?
Well, they're setting up the screening rooms to start looking at patients and selecting for surgery.
Mm-hmm. Well, I notice there's a cholera outbreak here right now. There's a cholera alert. Do we know anything about that? Have we been advised on that, or?
Oh, well, I think it's just a precaution. The sign was up just to inform on how to prevent the spread of cholera.
Yeah, cholera or cholera?
I don't know how to say it exactly, but no, I don't think it's a huge threat for any visitors.
Right. Okay, so where we go? Are we just waiting here, or what do we do?
People walk this way. Should we join them that way? Is that the...
You can sit here right now. It takes us a few moments to set everything up.
Okay.
Okay, and your name?
My name is Joni Block. I'm mission coordinator, one of the administrators on the plane.
Okay, so, and everybody's in blue. I should have, okay, next time. I'll know next time. Okay, so it is about 8:45 for now. Now, you haven't been to Trinidad in a while. This is the first time in a while?
We had a regional training program in Jamaica for the Caribbean last 95, actually. But I don't believe we've been in Trinidad since 91.
Right. Are all these people, do we know if these people are waiting to be seen by Orbis? How does that work here?
It appears that these people are waiting to be screened, but we'll wait and see once everything is up and running who is going to be coming in. So I just walked in too.
Okay, here we go. Let's we're going to cut tape and see where we're going from here. And the next time we speak, we're going to be into the subject a little more deeply. We're going to go to work right beyond this break. Let's take the break now, and we'll be back. We're being told now about the rooms. Excuse me. See if we can hear this. Okay, we're moving along. We're looking at a corridor here, and we're just going to come and move to the front a little bit here. Okay, let's see if we can get just a moment here. We're coming past some people now on the left, and some of the Orbis people are coming past us and moving around. Let's go into this room here and see what we can find. There's a gentleman from Orbis, and there's a baby with parents.
They're going to be...
one of the doctors, a staff ophthalmologist, and there's a baby sitting here with his parents, and you can hear the children, and we'll try to get a piece. Sir, your name?
Harris Samin.
Harris Amin, you're just seeing this child now. What is the condition? And
Well, the child appears to have an esotropia, which is a misalignment of the eyes, or one of the eyes going in. Parents say the kid is about 1 year old, and it's happened since he was born. So it's a situation where the vision doesn't develop normally in the eye, and as a result, one of the eyes can start to lose vision from it. Typically, we would patch the stronger eye, which would encourage the child to use the eye that's turning in, and often it needs surgical straightening so that the vision can be preserved. So with therapy, it's got a pretty good prognosis.
so what is the prognosis here?
The prognosis should be pretty good if they do some patching, and may also need some surgical correction. The exam will show whether surgery or glasses are needed to fix that problem.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, we're moving along, and it's just speaking with Laura Satchwell a few moments ago. We're about 20 minutes from the beginning. A lot of children here. Let's cut tape. We are with Dr. Kenneth Goins, who I was privileged enough to. We came out of JFK in New York City, and we flew to Trinidad, and Dr. Goins was on board, and I saw him in the terminal waiting for the flight, and he was sitting there with a box that said "Human Eyes," a hand-carry human eyes for surgery, a do not freeze. And in fact, when we got to Trinidad, we went through customs, and we come through all the bags, and everybody was opening bags, and as soon as the man saw the human eyes, he kind of backed off a little bit, and we were kind of free to go from there. Explain the eyes, explain how, I mean, you're carrying this box, explain what it's in. It looks like a styrofoam sort of setup, and you can't freeze, and of course it's avoid heat, but you do not freeze, so you're looking for room temperature. And let's talk about the eyes, and good morning, sir.
Good morning. I brought these eyes with me from Chicago. They came from the eye bank in Tampa, Florida. And I had quite a bit of trouble getting them from the Chicago airport. Nobody knew anything, but I finally found someone who knew what Orbis was and the purpose, and had to carry them with me here. And the tissue is packaged in special media to keep the cells alive, and they must be kept at a cool temperature so that they don't perish. But the cells will be usable up to 7 to 14 days if they're kept in the storage media and in a cool temperature. So
Now, I'm an eye donor, so that's what would happen in that case. I'm with Lions Club. I'm an eye donor there. So in other words, that's what would happen. I pass away, and my eyes are taken to wherever. Why not animal eyes? Why not?
to do a transplant with an animal eye would be called a xenograft, and those types of transplants reject horribly. So that's why we can't use animal eyes.
Right.
So using a human eye is called an allograft, and because the cornea does not have a significant blood supply or any blood supply normally, that's why our cornea transplants are very successful.
Right. So and how many eyes are you carrying with you? Can we look in there?
We've got 2 right now. My Baron here's one.
Okay, we'll look at here.
I can tell you, so it's not the entire eye, it's just actually the corneal button. I guess in some states you can take the entire eye, or you can just take the corneal button. I guess it depends on what the donor or what the family chooses. This person who donated was 73 years old, and they died on the 5th of March. And this tells us here how healthy the cornea is, and it says that there's 2,000 cells per square millimeter, and that refers to the corneal endothelium. That's what pumps the water out of the cornea and keeps it clear.
Right.
So this would be a very good cornea to use.
Okay. Now, I became an eye donor about 15 years ago, 16 years ago, but I've gotten older since then. I was in my 40s when it happened. I'm 57 now. My eyes, I have a need for glasses occasionally now. So is there going to be a need for my eyes 15 years down the road because of deterioration? Well, I can see that this person is in the 70s, so there is a need. What if the eye can't be used what if it has lost that I mean, I'm a little confused there.
Okay. And probably in your case, seeing that you have good vision and probably no history of corneal diseases that are genetic, I think that your corneas will be excellent.
The cornea.
Yeah. Certainly as one ages, the endothelial cells decrease in number, and so they're not suitable for transplantation. But this eye was, so
Right.
we're fortunate.
But my eyes can be used in some, even for training or for whatever. Yeah. So okay. So I can be an eye donor and pass away at 100, and there still may be a use for my eyes then.
That is correct.
Okay. Well, that's the important thing here. Okay. And this gentleman's looking for what would that be called?
He's looking at the basically the clarity of the cornea to see if there's significant edema, to make sure those endothelial cells are pumping and are healthy and viable. I mean, we don't want to use a cornea that's not going to be successful. So,
Right. And the equipment he's working with?
a slit lamp.
So what?
It's a slit lamp,
Slit lamp.
photo slit lamp. So we can
Describe a photo slit lamp.
a slit lamp microscope, I guess, is what he's using. It's used to give us a very magnified image of the cornea, and we can see the distinct layers of the cornea, the epithelium, stroma, and also endothelium.
Okay, and he's looking through, it looks like a binocular. Thank you, Larry Hobbs. It's not binoculars, it's a binocular. And then he's looking through this, and then there's a lamp. It looks like a lamp there.
Right.
Mirrors.
Hence the name slit lamp. It gives you a slit beam view through a section of tissue, and that's what enables you to, it gives you three-dimensional viewing, basically.
Is he happy with what you brought him? Are you happy here?
Oh yes.
Yeah. What is your name?
My name is Nibaran Gangopadhyay. I am one of the staff ophthalmologists in Orbis.
And you have, now what is going to happen with these corneas now? Do you have people set for these corneas? Let me move to you for a moment and see what it goes from. It kind of almost the same tie. I thought it was the same tie for a second. Oh, that's both nice ties. I need a tie now. What happens now? Do you have patients ready for these? Do they have to be matched? Do they?
Yes, we have got here the patients lined up with corneal pathology, and as we have some criteria that which type of cornea, like tissue, to be grafted in which type of patient as per the age and requirements. So we have got different types of patients starting at different age group.
Right.
So as these patients, these donor corneas are from slightly older age group in the range of 70s.
Right.
So we would prefer to use it for older age group patients. But as far the health of these donor corneas goes, they are very healthy.
So the age is also important.